Hello, my dear students, and welcome once again to another video for our class in Networking 2. In this video, we are going to demonstrate to you how to configure a Mikrotik router from scratch. Now, bear in mind that when you buy a brand new Mikrotik router, for example, a Hoplite router, this device I'll be using is the Hoplite AC2 or Hop AC2 model router, and the board model is RBD52G. So when you buy a new Mikrotik router, like for example the Hoplite, there is already a default configuration that is active mostly on those devices, and what it does, what it contains as its default configuration is that it's going to have one one wide area network at port 1, and then port 2, 3, and 4, as well as the Wi-Fi will be on bridge, which will serve as the local area network. That is the default configuration of the Hoplite. Also, that is the same default configuration in my device. This is Hop AC. Now, in this demo, I will be resetting the configuration to blank, to empty, no configuration. And then from there, we'll work on making it into a router that is capable of delivering internet into our local area network. So this is Winbox software. You can download this software over at mikrotik.com. So if you go to mikrotik.com, under downloads or software or application ba to? Here on software, you have here a downloadable download for Winbox, which you can get either for 64-bit or 32-bit. So I'm using the 64-bit program here. See that? It's 64-bit. Although I'm in Linux, I can still run Mikrotik Winbox using Wine. So for those of you who are running Wine or who are running Linux, install Wine, and you can start your Winbox by typing the command wine space and then the Winbox file. So in my case, let me close this one up. Mine is inside of downloads, and under downloads there's where you can find the winbox64.exe. So you can just type wine and then winbox64.exe and click enter, and it is going to run the Winbox program. What I did earlier without using a terminal is I executed a run command, and I executed wine there, and then the full path of the Winbox file which is at home, Lentrix, downloads, and winbox64.exe, and it will run without the use of terminal. So this is what we are going to use in this demonstration here. And right now it detected automatically the device. Okay, so if you want to see the device, let me turn on this web camera. Okay, so this is the device. The yellow cable is the internet, that is the internet source, and that is plugged on Ether 1, and then the other one, the white, the white cable is the internet source that's plugged on the Ether 1, and the yellow cable is plugged on Ether 2. That is what is being connected to my computer directly. Okay, so as you can see, it's a Hop AC2, and that is what I'm using right now. Okay, so back in our um, Winbox. So it detected automatically because right now I'm connected to it. But in the later on, I'll be removing. Right now, it's working. It is in full configuration. As you can see, I was able to go open up an internet web page. I can open up YouTube. Okay, so it's working right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the configuration and start from scratch. So what to do that? When you open up, um, you go to System and Reset Configuration. And here we click on No Default Configuration. And they click on Reset Configuration and yes. So this will disconnect our Winbox. Okay, see, now we are disconnected. And the thing is, when it is when it has no configuration, as you can see, it's no longer detected on the neighbors tab because it no longer have a what you call this IP address. But the way you can access a device for things like this, where there's no longer an IP address, you can access it using the MAC address, and that is why you can only access it through the Winbox software. And the other thing that you need to do is have your, so as you can see, it's already detected here. If it's not detected, as you can see, the IP address is 000. If it's not detected by your software, you can go to your settings. So what you can do is change your IP settings to IP address settings to manual and have your IP address within the network of 88 192.168.88. Whatever here, and then 255.255.255.0. Okay, and so with that, you'll be able to detect your device. Now I was able to detect my device through MAC address. So you don't click on the IP address anymore. You have to click on the MAC address right here and then click on connect. So this is now a fresh Mikrotik without any configuration. As you can see, we have our interfaces here. We have 4 or 5 Ethernet ports, and this particular model, the HAP AC2, has 2 wireless ports. The WLAN 1, the wireless LAN 1 is 2 gigahertz, which is what the cell phones are using, while the WLAN 2 is at 5 gigahertz, which is what most or some laptops are using. However, laptops can also access 2 gigahertz. Some cell phones like iPhones and some other Android phones can also access 5 gigahertz, but most cell phones access only 2 gigahertz. So muna siya duha ka buok. In your HAP Lite, you may have only one WLAN connection. So nawala na siya, guys. Nawala na ang iyahang IP address. So let me do it katong ganiha, which is by opening up my wireless settings, my network settings, and use manual. And in manual 192.168.88, so for example, I say 5. And then the net mask of that, and enable. And then hopefully we can now, we are able to detect the device and connect to it. All right. So the first thing we need to do is configure the Ether one. Again, the Ether one is where the internet line is connected to. Okay, so maybe we can have this Ether one with a name of WAN or Wide Area Network. Ether one WAN. Okay, so since I'm using the internet connection that I have allows for DHCP, so the first thing we need to do is set up a DHCP client so that DHCP client will be the one to request IP address from the resource, from the internet source. So I'll add a DHCP client. Of course, the interface that will be listening to is on Ether 1, Ether 1 for WAN, and click on apply, and then select it and click on the checkbox to enable it. Now when it's enabled, it's searching, and oh my goodness, look at that. Nasa nakita nga IP address nga 00. Okay, so here we go. We now have an IP address coming from our internet source. So our IP address that our router received was 192.168.1.114. Okay, so our DHCP client, because of that, it now takes care of the addressing. So in our address list, we now have a 192.168.1.114 for Ether 1. And then also automatically with this new version of Winbox, na ano po na siya na-create nga route. So under routes, we also have now a route towards 192.168.1.0 network, which is over at Ether 1. So this is, the D stands for it was created dynamically. So dynamic siya. Meaning siya na nag-automatic ana. And another one is wherein when we see a 000 destination address, it means from anywhere. It means to the internet. So for going to the internet, it is going to go through 192.168.1.1. This is the gateway. Of course, this gateway is the gateway of the router that provides for our internet connection, and then it is reachable through Ether 1. So this was done automatically when we created a DHCP client over at Ether 1. So the next thing we need to do is configure the network, the firewall NAT network address translation, and it's done here at IP, and then firewall. And under firewall, we have filter rules, mangle, and we are going to go to NAT. We're going to make a network address translation on Ether 1. So we click on plus, and then this is a source NAT. The chain is source NAT, and then our out interface is going to go to Ether 1, and then the action is going to be masquerade. So again, on general, chain is source NAT, and then our out interface is the port where our internet goes out of. That's Ether 1, and then the action is masquerade. Click on apply and OK, and right now it's not pulling any data. It's 0 bytes. It's either we have done something wrong or it's just that there's no activity. Anyway, now to try out, we have to go first guys DNS. So again, after sa firewall, we go to DNS, IP, DNS. There we go. And right now we are given a dynamic server DNS from the gateway. So we'll add our own, which would be 1.1.1.1, and another one that is going to be 1.0.0.1, and click on apply. All right. Okay, so next we can do is Let's try if we can now ping Google. We go to tools and ping, and Google is 8.8.8.8. Let's try. And yes, we are able to ping Google. Okay, so we now have an internet connection. However, I'm still not capable of sana connecting to the internet. Okay. Dili pa. Because I'm not connected to the LAN yet. Okay, so to do that, let's configure our LAN, and for our local area network, we're going to use now the other ports and as well as the two wireless ports. So we have in our interfaces, we have Ether 2, 3, 4, 5. Opat ka ports nga wired, and WLAN 1 and WLAN 2 which are wireless. So kini silang tanan mo himuon na tong local area network, and to do that, we put them in a bridge. So the next thing is open up a bridge. Click on bridge here, and right now we don't have any bridge, so we add a new bridge. We call this bridge 1. That's okay, that's fine. And just click on apply and okay. So now we have one bridge, but this bridge do not have ports yet. So go to ports, and now let's add the ports into the bridge. So we'll assign, click on plus, and we'll assign one WLAN 1 to bridge 1. Usar man sa bridge na to. So WLAN 1 to bridge 1. Again, WLAN 2 to bridge 1 as well. And then the other ports, we have Ether 2, then Ether 3, Ether 4, and finally Ether 5. Now that we have our bridge configured, let us now, the next thing is give this an IP address, or give this a network, IP address network. So we go to addresses, address list di. On our address list, you click on plus, and of course our interface is the bridge. So we now decide what is our IP address. So I'll just use 10.10.100.network. So 10.10.100. So my gateway will be 1. So this will be my address /24. Okay. Apply. So my network is at 10.10.100.0, and the IP address or the gateway is at 10.10.100.1, and it is a /24, so you will have 200 available IP addresses. Click on apply and okay. Now that we have our address list, we can now set up a DHCP server which will be basing on that address list. So we go to IP, DHCP server, and from here, all you have to do is click on DHCP setup. Of course, our interface is at bridge 1. Click on next. So here's our address space at /24. That's okay. And of course, our gateway is at .1. Go to next. And look at that, we have our available addresses from 10.10.100.2 to 10.10.100.254. More than 200 available IP addresses. That's okay. And here's our DNS server. And then the least time, we'll just give this 1 hour. So we have 1 hour of least time. Click on next. And we now have a DHCP server. Remember that this computer is connected to the port 2, and that port 2 is part of the bridge, and that bridge has a DHCP server which gives out 10.10.2 until gives out 10.10.100.2 until 10.10.100.254. So and right now my network configuration is at static. So let me try now and make it dynamic. So turn off, and of course this will be disconnected. There you go. And now I set up my IPv4 to automatic and click on apply, and then turn it on again. It's connecting, it's connected, and now look at my IP address. It's 10.10.100.254. So we are getting an IP address from our DHCP server. And now I can go back here and see it can now detect the IP address 10.100.1. If we try and open up internet, yes, we now have internet connection. Finally, we are now going to configure our wireless network. So I'll be configuring only one of the wireless networks. We have two here. Again, the WLAN one is at 5 gigahertz. As you can see, oh no, the WLAN one is that 2 gigahertz DI. You see? And the WLAN 2 is the one that has 5 gigahertz. So I'll be enabling the WLAN 1 so that my cell phone can connect to my router. Double click on that, and here we click on advanced mode so that all the options are available. Don't be overwhelmed, we will only be changing a few things. First, our mode is going to be AP bridge. What does that mean? It means it is an access point, and it's just a bridge because as you can see, our WLAN 1 is part of our bridge. So again, it's 2 gigahertz. By the way, you can have some other 2 gigahertz band. And I'll be using the frequency 2472. Next is by the way, you can select any frequency if you want. Just make sure that you're not using the same frequency as other Wi-Fi devices in the area. Okay? So SSID, I'll just call this Lentrix MK. And then, oh, by the way, before we complete this one, let me cancel this. The first thing for the eye is to create a security profile for your password. So click on security profile. Right now we have a default profile. This is the one with no password. So we have to add one security profile, and well, you can just use profile 1 if you want, and then select dynamic keys, and make sure you check on WPA PSK and WPA 2 PSK as well. PSK stands for pre-shared key. So this is where you can put the key. I'll just have it password 123. You know me. All right. Apply and okay. So now we have a profile, security profile, and we go back again to WLAN 1, the 2 gig station. Again, you have to be at AP bridge, and I'll be using the 2472 frequency. I'll use a SSID of Lentrix MK, and of course we now have here security profile of profile 1. You know what that means? That our Wi-Fi is going to have a password of password 123. And that's all there is to it. Click on apply and okay. And now enable it. As you can see, it's gray. It's being disabled for as of now. So select on it and click on the checkbox to enable it. All right. So now, because of that, I can access my router through my cell phone. And for basic configuration, I think that would be it. Thank you so much for watching, and see you again in the next one.